I am voting for Gary Johnson this November.
But a vote for Gary Johnson is a vote for Obama.
Do you mean that if everyone votes for Gary Johnson, that Obama will win the election?
No.
Do you mean that by voting for Gary Johnson I am voting to support corporate bailouts, government kill lists, the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, or the indefinite detention of U.S. citizens without due process?
No.
Do you mean that a vote for Gary Johnson is a show of approval for Obama's failed economic policies and unconstitutional abuses of executive powers?
No.
Then what do you mean?
I mean that a vote for Gary Johnson is a wasted vote.
Do you mean that if everyone votes for Gary Johnson, that the votes will not mean anything, and Obama will get a second term by default?
No.
Do you mean that the votes for Gary Johnson will not be counted?
No.
Then why do you say a vote for Gary Johnson is a wasted vote?
Because Gary Johnson cannot win the election.
But Gary Johnson will be on the ballot in all 50 states.
But Gary Johnson cannot win the election.
Do you mean that if 51% of Americans vote for Gary Johnson, the presidency will go to the man who comes in second place?
No.
Do you mean that without the monetary support of large megacorporations, greedy Wall Street bankers, and profiteering defense contractors, that Gary Johnson won't be able to buy enough TV ad time to inform the electorate about what he stands for?
Yes.
But aren't large megacorporations, greedy Wall Street bankers, and profiteering defense contractors part of the problem in Washington?
Yes.
And aren't you tired of large megacorporations, greedy Wall Street bankers, and profiteering defense contractors using their money to influence elections?
Yes.
And aren't large megacorporations, greedy Wall Street bankers, and profiteering defense contractors making large contributions to both the Romney and Obama campaigns?
Yes.
Do you think those large megacorporations, greedy Wall Street bankers, and profiteering defense contractors are looking out for their best interests when they make campaign contributions?
Yes.
Do you think your best interests are the same as those of large megacorporations, greedy Wall Street bankers, and profiteering defense contractors?
No.
Then why is a vote against those large megacorporations, greedy Wall Street bankers, and profiteering defense contractors a wasted vote?
Because the media tells me that Gary Johnson cannot win the election.
But don't large megacorporations, greedy Wall Street bankers, and profiteering defense contractors own or control most of the mainstream media outlets?
Yes.
So why would you believe what the media tells you?
Because I am too lazy to do my own research and lack the ability to think for myself or make my own informed decision about important national issues, especially with so many other important things going on right now.
Like what?
For starters, my fantasy football team, American Idol, Modern Warfare 3, the new season of Dexter, and my minimum wage job at Walmart take up most of my day.
But aren't those things all produced, created, or founded by large megacorporations, greedy Wall Street bankers, and profiteering defense contractors?
Yes.
Do you think they could be producing these things to keep you distracted from important issues like national elections?
Yes.
And yet you will still spend more time on those things than learning about all the candidates and issues in the election?
Yes.
Which do you think is more of a waste? An informed vote for a candidate you support, who will bring real change to Washington, end the wars, expand and protect human rights, put a stop to government kill lists, limit corporate influence in Washington, and protect our freedoms as American citizens? Or an uninformed vote for one of the puppets beholden to large megacorporations, greedy Wall Street bankers, and profiteering defense contractors, who will make sure that it is business as usual in Washington for the next 4 years?